Hi guys. I was talking to one of the coaches today about setting goals. Crap, I think I messed it up. Hey guys. So I was talking to one of the coaches today about setting goals. I don't know if you guys saw, but Elena posted a goal in the group that she's trying to quit her job in a year and a half, like I said, or 2 years, like she said. But what I think is really important is to, number one, identify your goal. So it's amazing to say, I want to be able to go full time with Beachbody and quit my job in a year. But what you really have to think about is, what is it going to take to make that happen? Because it's great to say that, but if in a year and a half you're only making $100 a week because you haven't worked the business correctly up until that point, obviously you're not going to be able to quit your job unless you just can, which in that case, awesome for you. But most people need to be making a certain amount of income per week before they can quit their job and just do Beachbody full time. So I kind of want to quickly show you guys how you would make that happen, what it would take, and how you can sit down and break down your goals so that you know what your real goals are. Because the real goal isn't to make $1,000 a week, because $1,000 a week isn't going to just fall into your lap. You have to know how to make that happen. So we're going to reverse engineer. I'm going to quickly show you guys how to do that. Hopefully this thing is recording the right way. Sometimes it gives me trouble. I don't know. Okay, so you guys should be able to see my back office and see my volume tab. So one thing that's super important is when we talk about income goals, know that I'm always talking about cycle bonuses. And the reason for that is because although retail commissions count as part of your income, they're not consistent. We all know that by now. Some weeks you're going to have amazing weeks. I mean, you can even look at mine. I was doing really, really good for a while, and then it falls off, and then it'll pick back up, and it'll fall off. Some weeks are going to be better. Product launches are going to be better. So you can't rely on that. What is going to be more consistent is building up your volume and cycling off of your team. So that requires building up a strong foundation and a strong team. This is also why we don't suggest building up with discount coaches, because discount coaches are really wishy-washy. You never know if they're going to stick around. They're not selling anything, and they're usually not going to stay on for more than a couple months. So I always tell my coaches, don't build up with discount coaches. Try to get active coaches, people who really want to do this business. The only time I suggest signing up a discount coach is if you're pushing for a rank advancement and you know that you can bring someone else on, within a month or so that you don't lose rank, or if you have a customer who could really benefit from the discount. But at the same time, if you have a customer who's using Shakeology religiously, you should bring up coaching to them anyway, because those are the type of people that we want. Excuse me. Okay, so that's great. You need to focus on volume now, but a lot of people are really confused on how team cycle bonuses work and how volume plays into that, what it really is. So let me just quickly break that down. Your volume, your PV, as we call it, or personal volume, is made up of anything that you buy or sell, or that your customer or your coaches buy or sell. Now, our team cycle bonuses are based off of our TV, which is team volume, and that's anything that your personally sponsored coaches or their sponsored coaches or theirs, it goes down forever in your downline, buy or sell. So I cycle off of everybody in my organization, all of the coaches in my organization, every single person under me. There's no limit. It doesn't stop at any certain point. So it's not like me, my coach, their coach, and that's it. It can go on forever. That's how people like Brandy Bots, who have this huge, massive organization, make over 20, 30, 40 grand a week, because they have these huge organizations. And if you think about all the diamonds and then their diamonds and then their diamonds and their diamonds, it's just like a snowball effect. There's so many people in the organization, and she's just cycling off of all of that. So the way that cycling works, and I know this can be really confusing at first, but I promise it's not so bad. There are videos. Beachbody has a really good video with Michael Neiman, who explains cycling. I think it's good. Some people still don't understand it after that. Honestly, cycling is one of those things that you don't understand that well until you start getting it, because then you're going to be like, oh, that makes sense now. But basically, in order to earn cycle bonuses, there are a few requirements, but the basic one is that you have to be at least an Emerald coach or higher. At Emerald, you earn $14 per cycle. At Ruby, you earn 16, and at Diamond, you earn $18 per cycle. So 18 is the highest. Once you get past Diamond, it doesn't matter. You can be a 20-star Diamond, although that doesn't exist, a 15-star Diamond, and you still make $18 per cycle. There are cycle limits. So as an Emerald coach, you can only cycle, I think it's 250 times per week, although I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. But if you were to do the math, 250 times per week at $14 per cycle, that's a $3,500 cycle bonus in 1 week. So let's just say if you're capping out at $3,500 per week as an Emerald, and you do that for a year, just off cycle bonuses alone, you'll be earning six figures, $182,000 per year off of cycle bonuses. Each rank has a different cap. I'm pretty sure Diamond and above is 5,000. So let's just, I think, I'm not 100% sure. I need to actually go find out to make sure. But at 5,000 cycles per week times 18, because remember, Diamonds make $18 per cycle, you would make $90,000 per week. 90,000, again, let's just do that math, times 52. So almost 5 million a year. And that is insane. I can't say whether or not there is any coach who is hitting that. I have no idea. I would assume somebody like Janelle Summers is probably really close, especially since she is a triple 15-star Diamond coach. So she is just insane. But yeah, so that's why. And I know the difference between Emerald and Diamond, that $4, because at Emerald you hit $14 per cycle and at Diamond you hit 18. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but let's just do a little bit of math. So let's just say you cycle 20 times a week at Emerald's $14. That's $280 per week. If we were to take that to a Diamond's $18, it's an extra $80 every week. So that's an extra, what is that, $320 per month, if the difference between an Emerald and a Diamond. So no, it's not millions, but it does make a big difference. So that's that. So how do you hit cycle bonuses? How do you get them, right? This is the confusing part where volume plays in. Remember, your cycle bonuses are only taken off of your team volume, so your TV. And actually, let me quickly go. I can't do it from here because this thing's in my way. Oh, yes, I can. If you look on here, oh, don't you dare do this to me right now. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Come on. Okay, if you look on this thing right here, you can see your team volume and also over here. So right now my left leg is sitting at 2269 and my right leg is sitting at 800. This is just a chart. So notice how team volume and personal volume PV are different. That's because your sales don't count towards your cycle bonuses. So let me go back. If you go to my business and my volume, you can see your volume. This is the more up-to-date. Sometimes there will be a discrepancy between the two. Okay, so how does it work? What Beachbody does is it's based on a binary, oh my goodness, someone's alarm's going off, a binary payment structure. So what that means is it's weighted. And what that means is at the end of every week on Wednesdays after midnight, Beachbody comes in and they take 100 volume points from whatever side has the least volume. And it doesn't matter if that's your weak leg, your strong leg, that's irrelevant. 100 volume points from whatever side has the least. Then they'll take 200 from this, or from your side that has the most points. So looking at this, I know that they can take 800 from this side. That would mean I would cycle 8 times, but only if they can also take 1,600 from the side that has the most. So if this was at 1,500, I'd only cycle 7 times, and then the rest of the volume would carry over. Hopefully that makes sense. So this week, 1,339, let's just see, 13 times 2. So I needed at least 2,600 here. I didn't hit that. So I only cycled 12 times on this week. And then that additional carried over, and that's in your carryover volume. You can also see that under my carryover volume. So basically they take 100 points from whatever side has the least amount of volume and 200 from the other side, and that equals one cycle bonus. So that one is times 18, and then they keep doing that until they can't do it anymore. And again, like I said, anything left over doesn't just get thrown out, it carries over. So eventually you'll get to a point where your carryover volume will start cycling and making money for you. Now, that's why when setting up your business and your downline is so important. And it's different for every single person. I actually am pretty equal. As you guys can see, my volume isn't that different on each side. I mean, some weeks it is, but for the most part, my left side carries pretty close to my right side. Some people's is completely different. It might be, 2 or 3 times the amount of volume on one side as the other. And that's kind of good because that means that they max out their cycle bonuses each week, whereas I constantly have rollover volume. That's not necessarily bad because on weeks where my volume is really low, I'll still get a high cycle bonus check, whereas they wouldn't. And also I can build my organization for rank, whereas people who are pushing for income goals and have one side that just gets killer volume and one that doesn't, they constantly want to be trying to build up the one that doesn't. So they have to put all their coaches on one side. That's a little bit more complex. I don't really want to go into that right now. That's something that if you want to know more about how to set up your business to maximize your income, I can sit down and have like a one-on-one with you because it really is specific to each person. But just know that that's how you cycle. So 100 from whatever side, and it doesn't matter what side it is. It could be your left side. It all depends on where you're placed in your uplines organization. For me, my right side is typically less. So 100 from whatever side has the least, and then 200 from whatever side has the most, and they're going to keep pulling from that. Each time they pull from that and they can get that 100 and 200, that's one cycle bonus. And they'll keep pulling until they can't anymore, and then whatever's left over gets rolled into the next week. So that's why sometimes when you log on Thursday mornings, you might see that you already have volume in your team volume. That's your carryover volume. Okay, so let's talk income goals. This is where reverse engineering and really understanding what you need comes into play, and understanding how cycle bonuses work. So again, whenever you're talking income goals, you want to talk about cycle bonuses because commissions from retail sales are not stable. So let's just hypothetically say that you're trying to make $1,000 a week, which is what a lot of people say they need to make in order to quit their job. So at $1,000 per week, you would have to cycle, and let's just say you're a diamond, because you always want to push to diamond so you can earn that extra $4 per cycle. It does make a big difference, I promise you. At 18, so I'm dividing 1,000, which is what we need, divided by 18, so that I can find out how many times I need to cycle in order to hit this $1,000 a week. So $1,000 a week divided by $18, which is how much I cycle, I would need to hit 50, well, let's just round up to 56 cycles per week. So that means that I would need to, this is where it gets a little bit confusing. I know I need to cycle 56 times per week. From that, I know that I need to have at least 5,600 cycle or 5,600 volume points on my one side that they're going to pull 100 points from. So this would have to have 5,600 because that's the only way I can get to 56 cycles per week is by having that. Then on my strong leg, I would take that 5,600, which is just 56 times 100. Because remember, they do it 100 points at a time. And then I would just take that 5,600 and multiply it by 2. Because that's going to be 56 times 200. Let me do it that way. That might be easier. Because remember, the other side needs to have 200 points per cycle. So if I do 11,200 divided by 18, oh wait, now I'm confusing myself. Ignore that. Yeah, so you would need 5,600 on your weak side and 11,200 on your strong side to make $1,000 a week. Actually, it'll be a little bit over $1,000 a week. Now, let's say you're an Emerald coach. how can you max out at $1,000 per week as an Emerald coach? So you would then take $1,000, divide it by however much you cycle, which is $14 for an Emerald coach. You would have to cycle 71 times. So that would mean on one leg, you would need to hit 7,100 volume points. And then on the other leg, you would need to hit 14,200. So see, that's another reason why it's important to get to diamond, because you can cycle less and still make more, obviously, because you're making more money per cycle. So hopefully that helps you guys. If it's still unclear, you can just message me and say, hey, look, I need to know what I can do. I need to make this amount per week. And I'll help you set up like realistic, like true number goals, because it's great to say, I need to make $600 per week. But if you don't know how to do it and you don't know what you need to do it, then it's hard. You know, you're kind of just driving blind. So figure it out. Think about what you need to make, figure out the numbers, and then set a goal to hit those. How do you hit those now? And I know, I'm sorry, this is kind of going long. The way that you do that is by building up a strong team. I cannot emphasize this enough. You have to make sure your coaches are being trained. Make sure you're there supporting them. Make sure that they are actively working the business. Figure out what their goals are and help them set up those numbers so that they know what they're pushing for. Make sure they're running challenge groups. Make sure, you know, maybe some incentives to help them push for volume goals. A lot of times, you know, we push for Success Club, and Success Club is another way of saying volume, but setting up volume incentives are important too. So Stephanie Davies used to always do, you know, like if you hit 250 volume this week, you get put into a drawing to win this watch. And so she would have her whole team pushing for 250. And at 250 volume times 20 people, that's 5,000, you know? So hopefully that helps you guys. I'm sorry if it's still confusing. Honestly, like I said, this is kind of one of those things where you just need to get into it and really experience it. Main things to remember are you need to at least get to Emerald. It doesn't matter what your income goals are. If you're not at Emerald, you're not going to be making the most of this income-wise. And Diamond is obviously the best because you're going to make $18 per cycle. And remember that in order to cycle, you need to be able to pull 100 volume points from one side and 200 from what other side. It can come from either one. It doesn't matter if it's your left or your right, but that's how they do it. And then they will keep cycling until they don't have enough points to fulfill that. And then whatever's left over carries over. Emeralds make $14 per cycle. Rubies make 16 and diamonds make 18. And that's it. Hopefully it helps. I'm here if you guys need my help. And that's it.